Overnight, China reported more than 500 new cases of the virus, now stemming from 4 prisons on the mainland, 2 of which are located in Hubei, the center of the outbreak. Eunice Yoon joins us now with more on the impact of the virus. So 500 Eunice, and it's a new method that we're counting. Is that more? Is that less? Is that is it slowing? Is it picking up? Which is it?
Well, I have bad news for you, Joe. We don't know, because the latest on the count is that the local authorities in Wuhan had decided that the numbers that had been discounted before needed to be re-added into the count. So more confusion instead of less when it comes to the methodology of counting. But I wanted to tell you more about the impact of the coronavirus crisis, because I managed today to speak to a restaurant, which is just one of many, many small and medium-sized enterprises here that are suffering because of the virus. In fact, a recent poll found that 85% of SMEs were worried that they could run out of cash in the next 3 months. And the Chinese government has identified F&B as one of the hardest hit sectors.
Usually, you can't get a seat at this popular cafe in Beijing. Not these days.
Basically, we're not having customers.
Alex Molina's Mosto Group runs 14 restaurants like this one in China, and he had hoped to open even more here this year. Now, because of the coronavirus outbreak, the Colombian restaurateur is wondering if his business can survive.
Most of our locations are closed. The time keeps passing, and it's like we start thinking what to do with the salaries of the staff, rents, fees, costs that we have. It's getting complicated day by day.
Molina's restaurant is in a part of Beijing called Sanlitun, which is known for its nightlife and its popular restaurants. Usually, this place would be teeming with people, but as you could see, hardly anyone is here.
To cope, Molina is limiting his menus, reducing his opening hours, negotiating rent breaks, and considering pay cuts for some of his 200 employees. The government is trying to help small companies like Mosto by allowing them to delay pension payments for workers and pressing banks to offer cheap loans. Molina says the loans would help, but the biggest concern is how long the outbreak will last.
We're pretty worried that we need to declare the company on bankruptcy. We're trying to avoid that, but it's for sure it's in the back of our heads.
And the Chinese government has been trying to stabilize business for a lot of small and medium-sized companies, mainly because the small and medium-sized enterprises here employ millions and millions of people, and they don't want to see those people losing their jobs or losing more pay. Guys?
Hey, Eunice, it sounds like it's getting more and more complicated for you in Beijing yesterday. I saw some of your tweets last night just talking about what you have to do to get in and out of your apartment building right now. How has that changed? How difficult is it?
It's actually gotten much more difficult, and I think part of that is because we had some disturbing news here in Beijing in the morning where there were clusters at 2 hospitals, mini outbreaks in the Chinese capital. So that had heightened fears here that things could get worse. So the Chinese state press had actually referenced it and said that the district that saw the uptick in cases had an infection density, they said, that was just lower than the epicenter of Wuhan. And again, that was evoked, I think, a stronger response out of the authorities here to try to make sure that they really contained the spread. And what you're referencing is that to get into my residential compound, I was told yesterday that I now need to bring my housing rental lease as well as my passport to the authorities, to the community authorities, in order to get a pass, so that each apartment is now allocated 3 passes. And if you have a family of 4, then one of the people is out of luck and is going to just have to stay at home the entire time. So we're seeing a more tightening here in Beijing.